the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show. It's the Big Tatum. It's the Big Tatum Show.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all finna get a good show tonight. Got my boy ABL in the house. I got a whole bunch of other people in there, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Jussie Smollett found guilty. Now, I'm not surprised. You shouldn't be surprised. Stevie, this is the phrase that I like to use. Ray Charles can see, and Stevie don't have to wonder if Jussie Smollett was going to be found guilty. The dumbest criminal in American history is Jussie Smollett. Dumbest criminal in American history. This dude staged, said that the white man beat him up with Trump hats on. And he picked the darkest Africans that you can find with African accents, rehearsed it, paid him money. He expects you to believe that at like 2 a.m., negative 20-degree weather, some white people was downtown beating up a black man and they knew he was on Empire. Y'all know white people don't watch Empire. And they just so happen to have bleach and a noose, because white people in America walk around with bleach and nooses at 3 o'clock in the morning, finding people who own Empire. The dumbest thing I ever heard. I'm just trying to wait for one more guest to jump in. Y'all know I'm late to my own stuff. ABL is here. Jericho's in the background. I'm going to bring him on in a second. I'm waiting for Craig to get on here. And I'll be sending people a notification at 6:30. I think this time it was at 6:31. Late to my own stuff. In my house. My studio is in my house. And I'm still late. And that's because I'm on CPT. And if y'all don't know what CPT is, don't say it out loud. Phone a friend. All right. Let me just give a promo real quick while I wait. Being Black and Blue, being a black cop in America on the Seas. Link will be in the description section at some point. You can go to beatingblackandblue.com. If you already bought my book, please give me a review online. #1 best new release for law enforcement books. I think we're almost #1 law enforcement book in general. So I appreciate y'all doing that. I think I'm going to bring my guest on. Craig is probably trying to get his mic together. But while we wait on Craig, I'm going to bring in my people. ABL, my brother from another mother. And we got Green Gear. Fellas, I'm trying to wait on Craig, but fellas, Lord have mercy. How dumb is Jussie Smollett? ABL, how dumb is Jussie Smollett?
The dumbest would-be criminal in the whole wide world is your man, Jussie Smollett. I mean, the craziest thing, you're living in Chicago. It's not 100% black, okay? You're living in America. You should be able to
I knew the
find.
camera was-
You should be able to find some white guys somewhere to play that role. Why you got to find the biggest Africans you can find? You finding the Hollywood Hulk Hogan of Africans to go do that. Why? That the dumbest thing. You thought it was going to be Tyler Perry up there directing the movie. It's like, sir, you talking about a federal hate crime. You about to go to the penitentiary. Now that he got found guilty, I wonder what's going to happen. Is it going to be a slap on the wrist like is per the course in Chicago, or is it going to be a real thing? We'll see.
I mean, if there was a crown for the most stupid person in America, it would be upon the head of Jussie Smollett. Now, if we're being completely honest, I mean, is it punishment for him to go to prison? Anyway, the fact that the only thing that's more stupid than him are the people who took this and ran with it. They are so thirsty for any droplets of perceived race. They're in the desert. They're in the racism desert. They are dying of heat exhaustion. They got to have something. So when this came along, despite the fact that Chicago, it was a Hillary stronghold, not MAGA country, minus 22 outside. Hey, we've all been to a good deli. We've all been to Subway. I'm not braving minus 21 for no foot long. So minus 21, Chicago. But see, remember with this whole pandemic, whatever you want to call it, the science. So science says that bleach freezes solid at 18 degrees. It's negative 21 outside. I'll leave the math to you guys. So then there's cameras everywhere. Every store, every street got a camera on it. So they got the footage of the dudes going to the event in the car after the event, buying the supplies for the event, and then footage of them doing a rehearsal for said event. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of tax money. That was a waste of federal time and efforts and manpower. With the FBI was involved in this. It was a waste of manpower for Chicago PD because not having the numbers off the top of my head, I'm sure they could have been saving somebody's life rather than dealing with this nonsense. Did you see it was like a string on your blinds when you want to open and close your blinds? That's what these fools made a noose with. And it wasn't even a good noose. Somebody connect him with Bubba Wallace. Step your noose game up. This is ridiculous.
Bruh, how you gonna hang somebody with a shoestring? I just the name. I'll pay him. I don't have $1 million to pay nobody, but I'll pay $1 million. You can find a white man walking around with bleach and a noose, now a string, and a string, waiting to find people that are on BT to try to assault them. It's out of control. Craig, you ready? I got you on mute because I think you were getting it set up. But Craig, what do you think about Bubba Smollett? We call him Bubba Smollett. Out here perpetuating fake hate crimes.
The boy that cried wolf. Man, he all I'm gonna say is everybody get the popcorn out. We know how media's gonna spin it. They're gonna spin it to him for him to be some type of victim. And can you guys hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You look good too.
They're gonna shout out to ABL, man. Shout out to everybody.
Oh man, the computer.
Yeah, bro. The computer's on the way, but the media is gonna spin it to somehow he's a victim and we need to support him. But everybody sees he is a lying joker, and everybody's seen that kept up with this whole trial. This guy lied and faked a hate crime. This is what's wrong with our country today, right? Joe Biden was right. These thugs are beyond the pale, man. Jussie Smollett is just like the rest of them, man. They're beyond the pale, and he should be punished. It should be taken lightly. I'm going to have to pull what the left does. Pull the hypotheticals. If it was somebody white or anybody else and they pulled this same tactic and they tried to pull what he just pulled off, I'm telling you, the media will be blasting this stuff all over the place, man. So I have no sympathy for Jussie Smollett whatsoever. He's the boy that cried wolf. Get your popcorn out, sit back and watch the show. They're going to spin it and somehow make him the victim. These blue check woke celebrities are already saying, I support Jussie, even though they know he was lying. And that is what's wrong with this country, man.
Dude,
I
no,
saw,
everybody knew
I
that
saw-
fool was lying. Go
The
ahead.
other day, I saw some footage of Vivica Fox at some event giving support for Jussie. I was like, if you don't get back in the 5 for 20 bin, Vivica, get out of here with that. But they're so into this lie. I guess they gotta ride it out.
They're gonna die. They're gonna die with the lie. They're gonna die with the lie.
And look, I was on a show in Europe. You know, I almost never went back to that show because they didn't let me talk. But they had one liberal up there. I don't know who the guy was above me. That was a brilliant brother, bro. He was brilliant, and he was a conservative. I'm like, man, I need to have him on my show. He was brilliant. But the liberal, she could not deny that he was wrong and could not deny that what he did was crazy. But she said, but let's not be mistaken. There's systemic issues in this country. And I'm like, bruh, and she brought up Kyle Rittenhouse. And I said, I didn't get to say this. They ended up letting me say it and clipping it in. But I said, Kyle Rittenhouse was found guilty the same day that a kid named Anthony Coffey was found not guilty. I hope I didn't say guilty. I mean not guilty. Coffey was found not guilty in a self-defense case when it came to him taking the life of a police officer. That should be guilty with no jury if the racist white country had his way. But that man was found not guilty in a self-defense case the same day that Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted. So we know the angle that they're pushing, but I don't think it's gonna work.
Don Lemon should be under investigation, and CNN should continue to pull out the sword and let more heads roll because he was involved with this too. They need to investigate him, and they need to fire him just like they did his homeboy and get them off the air. Even though we know they'll replace them with some other fool, they need to get rid of that fool. He had involvement in it. They need to investigate him, and they need to let him go too.
All these people out here. Yeah, he texted Smollett that the Chicago PD didn't believe him. And it's like, of course they didn't believe him. But the question is, did you say that on the air that you got information that his story is incredibly questionable? I think he did say, if this is not real, it's a bad thing. But did he know that it was bull crap and he still got on the media and tried to give him a little bit of a leeway? I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
I think everybody knew there was BS from the beginning. The story didn't make no sense. Like none of the details made sense. So when you're listening to it, you're like, is that really what happened? Like, for real? It didn't make any sense. So when you get on TV and you want to defend him and you texted him talking about, man, the police don't believe that, and you never say anything about it, you never had any kind of doubt in your mind, you were sure as rain from the sky falling down in Miami. You were very sure. But you didn't say anything about your prior kind of questioning and your knowledge of the whole situation. And then about Michelle Obama's friend, the staffer got involved. This whole thing is really crazy. So if you don't go to the penitentiary, man, you know that it's the fix is in.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the legal analysis of this. Even though we want to see him go to prison for the max, I think the judge should set the precedent that if you lie with no remorse, it's not like they found him to be lying and he said, okay, I want to take a plea deal which doesn't involve any prison time. This dude is still out there saying that it didn't happen. He's still out there saying and disparaging people and saying that these guys set him up, they were homophobic. He alluded to, I mean, here's the thing. Why wasn't this televised? I don't understand why this wasn't televised. This is the juiciest story on planet Earth, and I know that the cross-examination, direct examination was out of control. They had Ahmaud Arbery, Kyle Rittenhouse, which were violent cases where they showed evidence that was pretty hard to watch, but they didn't show this. They're not showing
a hate crime towards somebody with the LGBT. What? They didn't show that at all on the news. Get on out of here.
They knew it was bad. And I'll tell you what, go ahead, Jericho.
He's draped in multiple cloaks of victimhood. You got the POC. He's part of the Alphabet Soup group. I mean, I don't understand how you can say out of the same mouth that this is systemic racism and we can't trust the police, especially, that's what BLM's saying, especially the Chicago PD. We can't trust them. But this man did all this so he could get more money. He's making $100,000 an episode for some ridiculous show that 10 people are watching, and he wanted more money. That's systemic racism. I think we've come leaps and bounds from people like Emmett Till. They always want to bring up when something happens. This is just like Emmett Till. I think we've come a long way since that, from a dude creating racist people in his mind and convincing two dummies to play it out because he wanted more than $100,000. And I think the reason they're not broadcasting this on TV is because it's hard to watch. Just like B. Tatum was saying, the footage of Ahmaud Arbery and Kyle Rittenhouse was hard to watch. So is this, in a different way. And they know if people were able to put their eyeballs on it, this is like watching a child lie to you. This is like finding a toddler with chocolate on their face, hiding their hands behind their back, telling you they weren't eating chocolate. It's that hard to watch. It's that obvious of a lie. And the fact that they let it get this far, and I'm pretty sure, B. Tatum, you got the law enforcement background, but if you have somebody who's part of an investigation, and then you have somebody telling them what's going on in the police side of investigation, they might call that interfering with an investigation. And it's federal, FBI. They were involved in this. If this were me or you, some 9-to-5er, it's a wrap. But this guy clearly broke laws, broke rules, and wasted the time of so many people. And I wish we had more than just, oil paint, still pics of what happened in there.
And I think it's funny because I blame the police department as well, because nobody that have experienced what Jussie made up would have gotten a police response. Not one person. They had FBI on it. They had all of their resources because he was a celebrity. That's the only reason why they did all this. And then they mad because he was lying. I think that these fake hate crimes are just as bad or even worse than what the real crime would have actually been. And let me say this. You know how much division and racial tension is stoked with him making this story up, making this scenario up. And then it also hurts the people who actually experience these things, because now you're like, I don't believe that person. I don't believe that, white people out here doing people like that. It may be true. I haven't seen the real stories. Nobody ever doing it. If anything, black people are doing it to white people, but I have not seen evidence of that. And this guy is hurting the testimony of real victims. And I'll say this, and I'm gonna pass the mic. I want them to be harsher on these punishable offenses, because you should do the time that the crime would have been if it was real. Like if you go out and say some man took advantage of me at a party and you lied, you should get the time that he would have gotten if it was real. That's how I feel. That would deter people from lying about bogus stuff. And I'm not saying that it's unsubstantiated. That's the difference between unsubstantiated evidence and lying. And in the court of law, testimony overwhelmingly showed that Jussie lied. It wasn't inconclusive. It wasn't that they didn't have information. Witnesses testify, video evidence presented in the court of law, and also the inconsistencies in his story. He now admits that these dudes did it, but at the time he said they were white guys with MAGA hats on.
Well, MAGA hats.
And that was not even close to being true. And so I think this is an example, and you guys can comment on this. This is an example of the fact that I think racism is such a dying sport in America that people are having to either envision it falsely or recreate these fake scenarios.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thing about it is, it's so few examples of racism that they got to create it, or they got to make it be overblown. Like it may be something that happens where it's racial in nature, but then when they report it, they kind of overblow it and talk about it like it's the worst thing in the world. Some white lady accuses a black guy of taking her wallet, then it becomes the hate crime of the century. It's Emmett Till, it's violence. It's like, is it really that bad? Really? I'm not saying it's good, but is it the equivalent of killing somebody or murdering a whole race of people? Is it that bad? So they overblow things that aren't that big, and then they create things because it's a lack of all the race stuff. That's a smoke screen. They'll put that up and totally have you ignore all the homicides rising all over the country, in Philly, Baltimore, Detroit, New York, LA. Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry about them dead black folks. Kill about other black folks. Another rapper just died today, Slim 400 in LA. YG's homeboy. Let's not worry about him. 33 years old, getting shot and killed in his own hometown. Don't worry about the other guy just got shot and killed. Those guys are getting locked up. Worry about this episode of racism that didn't even happen.
And even if it did, it's not that violent of a crime.
Right.
You didn't sustain any serious injury. You still got your sandwich in your hand. You at the house cinching down this little telephone cord that you got that you call a news. And let me say this, man. This is what bothered me the most about this. Why do they disrespect Emmett Till? Emmett Till was a young man that, whether he said something that was inappropriate or not, is irrelevant. He got murdered. They wrapped a cotton gin with barbed wire around his neck and drowned him after beating him unrecognizably. He suffered. These people were not brought to justice. And they comparing a celebrity millionaire who probably get a scratch on his forehead, even if it was real, to Emmett Till. The utter disrespect for black people. Black people were, in this country, some black people, not all, were beat, lynched, hung. Like, lynches were a big thing. Like, it wasn't somebody in a cornfield somewhere lynching one person. They had actual carnival type events where they would have come out and picnic. They would watch the man hang there and they would celebrate. And it was a big display. Sometimes when they hung, they would cut your genitalia off, beat you before they put you on a thing. And you want to compare that to a millionaire who claimed that he got roughed up a little bit in Chicago? It's sickening to me, man. It's sickening.
And that's how far back they have to go to find real racial injustice. They got to go back to 1954, 1955 to find that kind of stuff. And like you were saying, B. Tatum, they tortured and murdered that boy. Number one, he was 14. He was a kid. They even gouged out one of his eyes before they killed him. He was a kid. These are adults. And he said that he was getting accosted by one guy and then another guy just came up and kicked him and then ran off. So you're tussling with one dude, some other guy, oh, hey, this guy, they're in a fight. Let me go kick the one who's down and be on my way. That's ridiculous. And he said that his manager, whoever was there with him who called the police, he said he didn't want him to call the police, but his manager did anyway. If you ain't that hurt and you tell your homeboy says, hey, man, I'm going to call the cops. And you're like, nah, man, don't call him. Who's going to let him call the police? Hey, man, put your phone down. Don't call the cops. It ain't that bad. We never even would have heard about this nonsense. And you see this little just slight puffiness. It looks like he just woke up. His face wasn't even hurt that bad. I've been more roughed up by my older brother as a kid, man. Are you kidding me? And this passes as Emmett Till level racism? What an insult to that poor little boy and the fear and the terror he felt before he finally died. To compare that to a grown man who makes more money than that poor little boy probably would have if he grew up in 10 lifetimes. This is weak. This is an insult. This is an insult. This is watered down nonsense, light. You don't even call it racist. There are racist people. This is not a racist country. I will say this again until I am blue in the face. As long as you are willing to take everything you own and put it on something that floats or put it in a backpack and walk 1,500 miles, swim 90 miles to get to this racist dystopia, they must be the stupidest people in the world. But they can't be, because the powers that be are telling us that those people are better than us and they work harder than us and they love their kids more than we do. So which one is it? This is a lie. This is disgusting. He should be banished. We should find some third world country, trade them 10 of their people for one Jussie.
Go ahead.
No, and take his salary with him. Let me make a correction real quick. Somebody said that they ban cameras in all federal court trials. I didn't know that. I can't verify that, but that seems to be pretty accurate given the fact that this one and Ghislaine Maxwell her trial is not being televised. And I've seen this over time. You know, they draw the little paintings, which I get it. I mean, that makes sense. What are you gonna say, Craig?
I mean, he hit it on the nail. Everybody on the panel hit on the nail. This is why I have a deep disdain for these people that push this racism narrative, right? To compare it to the previous generations that really suffered horrific things when it came to slavery and just Jim Crow, just pure hatred. To compare it to 2021, it's very disrespectful and condescending, right? But believe it or not, hate crimes being faked are very more often than people really know. They just don't display it or overly sensationalize it on TV. There is a lot of people that fake hate crimes consistently, white folks and black folks. So it's sad that we are in 2021 and it's to this level. But that's what the left does. They continue to bring up Emmett Till, which and everybody described it as horrific as it was. They continue to bring him up and compare him. They even go as far as pointing out to people in a picture that was looking at Emmett Till, saying, oh, look, these kids in this picture, they're now about 50, 60 years old. So it's the level of hatred, anger, and resentment in these people's heart is beyond me. And as you guys see on full display, they're willing to go to the extent of lying at a celebrity level, at a level of a black man that's a millionaire in this country that would literally cry wolf and lie about a hate crime. I think he should be put in jail. Anybody that supports him, I mean, he should be losing sponsorships. He should never be able to be able to work again in Hollywood. Whatever it is that he does, he should be completely black sheep. He shouldn't even see another day of being on camera. Besides people making a mockery of him lying.
Yeah, and it's crazy that in our society today that there's an advantage of being black, right? I'm just being honest. Like they talk about white privilege, there's a black privilege.
Oh, 100%.
A man that does what he does is still considered to be covered under this wokeness of, well, he lied, but it's still real and it's still happening. And if you look at statistical data, and let me clarify this for people in the law enforcement perspective, is that just because there's reporting of hate crimes don't make them real. So when you go out and report a hate crime, the police department has to classify. For instance, if a random person walked up to me, just say I was on patrol driving down the street, somebody said, hey man, this guy punched me in the head, he used the N-word, it's a hate crime. We have to document it as a potential hate crime when we classify it. We have to write a case report and say that there was a claim of a hate crime. I want to know what's the sustainable hate crimes, because anybody can report it. And the reason we see an influx or elevation in hate crime reporting is because now people are so hypersensitive that they now feel like everything that happens to them is a reported hate crime. And so I want the audience to understand the difference between the reporting of a hate crime and an actual hate crime taking place.
Right. And guess what, B? You know your favorite organization, Black Lives Matter. Did you see the statement that they put out on it? They had to put their 2 cents and put their racist spin on it, on as far as this whole entire fiasco. If you haven't seen it, I really highly suggest people to go and look it up. But Black Lives Matter came out with a statement. Of course, they're supporting him and saying somehow blaming it on the system and racism. Look, this is no different than when they call white folks Karen. This is what I would refer to as a beta male shaquisha. He literally is out here acting like his mama and his grandmom. He's adopted toxic feminine behaviors and is literally out here being a beta male shaquisha. So when they out here calling people Karen, just know that there is some beta male shaquishas out here as well.
100%, 100%. And
I know you like, man. What?
This leads me to the next point. And I know it's completely off topic, but I made a video about this, and I'm not gonna post it till like a couple of days from now. But I made a video about the alpha male high value man. And when you just said, Craig, about how this man is being influenced by this toxic femininity and is on display, it made me think about that video I made about high value men. Now, I'm gonna preface it with this. I don't know if people watch Fox, what do they call it, Fresh and Fit. I think that they're the most disingenuous two dudes that I've ever seen. And some people may not know who they are. But I want to talk about a little bit about high value men. What's our perspectives of a high value man? And I'm gonna shoot it to ABL first, and then I'll run my mouth for an hour about it. But ABL, what do you think about this wave of high value men by these gurus? And what is the real definition to you of a high value man?
That's a great question. Now, from my point of view, just my opinion, a high value man is someone, first of all, one thing I want to say that it's not necessarily is about money, your dollar amount you got in the bank, how much money you make. Now, you can't just be a bum doing nothing at the crib, playing PlayStation, not getting anything done. You can't do that. But you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be Elon Musk or anything like that to be a high value man. But you got to be productive in society, doing something. You can't be idle, be productive, be building, be constructing, have a system that you can put anybody in to have it work, whether it be employees, whether it be your wife, your kids, or whatever. There must be something that you have as a system that people can just fall into and have it work. Okay. You got to protect. So if you got wife, kids, family, or whatever, be willing to put your life on the line for them. That's how it works, regardless. I don't care what it is, protect at all costs. So whether it be hand to hand, whether it be weapons, whatever you got to do, that's your job as a man. Also, somebody that is not a beta, like Craig was saying. It can't be beta, it can't be soft. You can't be soft emotionally. You got to be able to control your emotions. Everybody has emotions, men and women. But as a man, you must be able to control your emotions. You got to master your emotions. And you have to make rational and logical decisions. You got to be a man 100% of the time, not just part-time, not just some of the time, not just when you want to do it or when you feel like doing it, all the time, 100%, period. If you got kids, take care of your kids, take care of your wife. You got responsibilities, own up to them, take care of them. That's pretty much what I would say. I know there's a lot more I could say, but that's a good starting point right there.
I just want to throw that out there. I know that we switching topics, but I just want to throw that out there because I feel like there's an influx of falsehood, and I got men on here to talk about it. There's an influx in falsehood in the character of man that you're supposed to be sleeping with all these women, and that makes you an alpha. You can go and one of the guys on the little show that I was telling y'all about, you talk about he slept with 1,000. Hold on. He slept with 1,000 women and all this old crazy stuff. And in my personal opinion, I think that don't make sense when you talk about how value men. So I think ABL, you touched on it. I don't want to beat that dead horse too much. I want to jump to another subject because this was popped up. You know, your boy got exposed on Project Veritas.
Oh boy, he's going down.
I think I'm gonna find it for us.
He is going down.
I want to talk about this, man.
This is juicy.
Did you send that to me, Craig? I don't think somebody sent it to me. I gotta find it, but
it's juicy. This is about up there with Jussie Smollett. This is juicy.
This fool, Alex Stovall. I made a video about it earlier and I can't find it, but Alex Stovall,
the politician.
Yeah, the politician in Arizona got exposed by Project Veritas. I think I
didn't read the story, but I saw that headline.
Ain't he associated with the Renaissance? What is it?
Kim Klacik them stuff.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called.
They heard up put that statement out on it too.
What was that? Was he the governor or something of Florida? The one who ended up in the motel room with all the powders and stuff.
Yeah,
that was Andrew Gillum. He was
Gillum.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a bullet dodge right there because he almost won. They found that man naked in the hotel room with drugs and boys. It was like, man, look.
Oh man, it was all bad. But he was there for a wedding. He was just there for a wedding.
I was there for a wedding. It's like, where your pants at though? Where your pants at?
Why you got to go to
a wedding and ended up like that, right?
With Vaseline and stuff. What did that got to do with a wedding? Man. I want y'all to see this. I'm gonna play a little clip of this Project Veritas stuff, and I want us to react to it. Let me see. I got the audio on. Let me share the screen again. This fool here, man, and this is why we always talk about these people who talk about messaging. Black man, Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens, and then listen to this fool.
They
man.
got him on 4K.
4K.
Boy.
Got some girl out here exposing him.
Republican Party is disgusting to me. The stuff that they're doing should be criminal, and they should all be thrown in prison. Yes. Yeah. The McCarthys, the Cawthorns, the whole audit bullcrap thing that they're doing. I listen to what my counsel tells me. That's when they say go get an endorsement from somebody, I say, all right, cool. No, I don't have respect for Candace Owens anymore. Will I take her donation and take her donors? Absolutely, but it goes no further than that. Yeah. I would never invite her to a Christmas party.
Well, she would never want to go to your Christmas party, but there's more. I'm going to play a little more, but I want us to talk about this real quick because this was crazy to me that this dude, and I met him before, and just seeing that Jerry Curly guy let me know everything I need to know about him. But this dude it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, for the ones who've seen this, what do you think about what he said?
Now, first of all, I met him too at that event that he was at, where that picture was. Yeah, I met him right there. It was funny because he came up to me and he was saying that people thought that he was me. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a similar.
Oh Lord!
Oh man,
that's embarrassing.
I mean, he was cool when I met him. I was like, I didn't talk to him that much, but we took a picture, whatever. It seemed like everything was fine. But then I'm seeing stuff like this. It's like, man, I was disappointed when I saw it. I was like, come on. Now, my thing is this. You can have your opinion. You can feel how you want to feel about certain things, but just say that. If you think the Republican Party is corrupt and they got some bad stuff going on, go out there and say it. Don't say one thing behind closed doors and then go out to the public and say something different. If that's how you feel, then stand on that. Be a man about it and say, yo, this is how I feel. I'm a conservative, but X, Y, and Z. Now, if you don't get votes that way, then so be it. You can still say at the end of the day, I was real. I was true to myself. I ain't go out there and lie. But when you get caught lying, you can't turn back from that. So now all we see you as is a regular politician, and we don't want that. That's why Trump won. A lot of other guys won because they're not typical lying politicians.
Yeah, I mean, when are people going to learn? If you're anybody of note, Planned Parenthood, up and coming politician, if somebody invites you out to eat, don't say nothing because it's probably somebody from Project Veritas with their camera on the table. How many times have we seen this? How many times have we seen this angle? Somebody saying some stuff that doesn't match what they said out in public. And ABL's right. If that's who you are, be that, because then you don't got to worry. You can just say the same stuff in front of people, behind closed doors, whatever. But this ain't going away. I don't think it's going to hurt the Republican Party because I like to think people are smart enough to keep the two separate. Like, this dude is just an idiot. But yeah, there's no coming back from this, man. Don't even go out in public no more. Don't do nothing, man. And if you're into something important, don't go out to eat with people because they're going to put a camera on the table and it's over.
He's dumb. He's done, man. His political career is probably over, man. Shout out to whoever it was that got him set up or whatever. Shout out to Project Veritas. I just love the spin that they put on this. We're used to seeing them catching these big corporations, these CEOs, people that work for these companies, people that's on the left. They really put a curveball in this now, and they reflect in the mirror on our own party, the Republican Party, right? I think that they should put ops on every single politician that runs for the Republican Party, even put ops on us, because I'm like Jericho. Somebody invites me to go out to eat, I'm going to be 100% who I am anyway. Not that I have anything to hide, but this right here, let me know. Man, shoot, they caught him straight up on the 4K, man. So this guy, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, only thing that y'all gonna find from me is that I might hurt your feelings a little harder. That's all you got. I'm trying to say your feelings. That's why I may not say stuff on camera, but you catch me off camera, bro. I say the same thing. It's just
yeah, I'm telling you. If anything, I'm tapering what I say back because I'm on camera. If you catch me on camera, you're getting it raw, man.
but it's still going to be in the same. It's still going to be the same. It might be a little more raw, a little more uncut, but the belief is going to be the same. And from what I've seen, like I said, I saw the headline. I didn't see any footage. So the first time for me, this ain't good, man. And it almost sounds like he planned it. Like this is how he wants it to be. He wants to be one thing in front of the cameras and one thing behind closed doors. And to say that stuff about Candace or anybody, like, will I take their money? Yeah, will I take their donors? Man, that's crazy. It's done, man. Anything above like fast food, I don't think he's gonna get a job.
It should
be it. It should be. If you're gonna do that and deceive people, then do a 180 behind closed doors. They can't trust you anyway. So whatever
it gets worse.
Gets.
I'm gonna play a little more.
So what are your thoughts on the election then? Do you think that Trump won?
I'm gonna leave that part out because y'all know they're gonna get me on that one. So they asked him about the election, and he said he don't think Trump won. Whatever. He goes on and talk about that, and then he gets on and says that Trump, we need to follow Trump's policies and all this stuff. He said people in Arizona don't like Trump. He went on the whole Trump thing, but this is where I think he messed up though, because when you start talking about white folks and you start trying to play the race card. This is where you get bludgeoned at. Let me see if I can find that clip. I think it's like right here. He said something about voters being black. Hold on.
No, you're right there.
Am I right there? It was after they were in the car.
It's like, just play right here.
Right here. Right
Either
here.
way, go ahead.
Right here. Let me play it.
Right Republican.
Yeah.
You ever played spades or goldfish?
Nah, it's after this, bro.
It's
right here. Right here.
Vote for me just so they can say that they elected the youngest black Republican in American history.
Like it doesn't matter what your policies are, they just care about that.
Yep. That's everybody. Do you really think people care about policies? Oh yeah, you're getting a real news flash about how politics work.
Alex is
golly, boy.
And you know what? See, the craziest thing is that the policy that's paramount. We appreciate when people like Kristen Sinema vote in our favor, who's a Democrat in Arizona. And same thing with Joe Manchin, another Democrat in West Virginia, where I was born. We're not going to vote for them, but we still appreciate what they do as far as helping us get certain things done. Policy is very important to us that understand politics. Now, if you're just a regular person and you don't know politics, all you're going to do is vote red or blue regardless. It really don't matter what color you are, really. You're not. And then the thing is, he was mad about people possibly voting for him because he's a young black conservative, but on his own website and on the fundraising platform, he promotes that himself. I'm a 26-year-old young black conservative, youngest ever in history. Vote for me. Then you turn around and say, if they do that, then they're racist. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, he wants the spotlight. He wants the spotlight, and then he's gonna flip it. Either way, he's burned all his bridges, man. He's tarnished relationships just in them clips. And I was on a live earlier today, and there's more coming out on the dude. So it's like, man, this is getting real saucy.
Yeah, it's projection. He's thinking that people are as full of crap as he is. And I don't know, people, they do crazy stuff for crazy reasons. But to think that a significant amount of people are sitting there thinking, I want to elect this dude so he can be the youngest black. Like, man, come on. Some people, that's all they care about is policy. That's all any of us should care about, really, is policy, what they're going to do for us. And it doesn't matter the package that it comes in. That's insignificant. That's irrelevant. But yeah, it should all be about policy. But especially on the conservative side, on the the right-leaning side, I think people are more about policy. All that because he's black stuff is definitely on the left.
Identity politics.
But this is where I think that the reason why all of us, and my wife is especially on it, the reason why we criticize these people, these same people that hate me, Candace, y'all, they're the same ones that say messaging. It's that our messaging is actually what we really feel like. And if it don't work or people don't like it, then so be it. This is how I really feel. They are so worried about messaging that they have to create a fake message that really don't even resonate. The stuff that he's saying is not going to resonate. You cannot say they're going to just vote for me because they're going to just, I don't have to say anything right. I don't have to be a quality person. They're just going to vote for me because I'm the young youngest black person running for Congress or whatever. It's like, no, your rhetoric is pushed towards believing that, and that don't work. People like authenticity. They know that they can smell it on you if you really support President Trump. They can smell it on you if you really believe that this country is post-racial. And this guy in the video said, no, this country is still racist. What Candace Owens is saying is false. What Tucker Carlson is saying is false. Racism is still a prominent thing in America. And then he gets on TV and talks about CRT. People can see through you. Let me play this last clip because I would argue that he's probably more of a prophet than he is anything else, because he just prophesied his demise in this little clip right here. Let me see. I think it's,
he hangs out with them solutionary people.
Yeah, delusionaries.
The delusionaries, the pro-black, 2 steps away from being in the Black Lives Matter protest. I could guarantee you after this, he's gonna switch sides, and we're gonna see him all the way on the left. He's gonna be right along with them with fake guest appearances at they events. And I'm telling you, you ain't gonna see much more of this guy, man, as far as on the right.
This is how most of the people in his camp feel. This is not just him. These black conservatives that we criticize and people say, y'all all should get along, they all really feel like this. Kimberly Klacik, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, Kimberly Klacik and all of them, deep down, they don't really believe this stuff. They believe in messaging. If I go out and tell this story, I'm gonna get the votes. If I go out and say what I really feel, nobody will support me. And they all feel this way. If you go look at his profile, you will see all the people that he hang with. You will see the Maj, you'll see all these same people on his platform, you see them on theirs, and they're all friends. They all friends, and they all hate on other people who can actually live an authentic life.
Brandon, they say we're the grifters. What you just defined and described is grifting. Literally, they're grifters, man. They say we the grifters. They're grifting.
He had mentioned about money. He said, well, I'll take their money, or you ain't gonna make any money if you don't say this or say that. Let me play his prophecy, because I say this in my business meeting every Monday to my team. You have to have integrity, and lack of integrity leads you to validate my point. Wrote a film.
Be less white, vote for the young black candidate. Now, the stuff that you will soon know could destroy the campaign. If you're not doing anything wrong, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you got skeletons in the closet, they're gonna what's in dark comes to light.
It sure will.
Prophet Stovall.
Man.
The prophetess is what I call it.
That's Tupac Stovall right there.
Yeah.
Socrates.
These people are so fake, man. It is crazy to me. And I think that's why we rise to the top, because we're just being authentic, man. What Jericho Green says on his stuff is the same thing that he'll say at dinner when we're at dinner together. Same thing Craig say, same thing ABL say. You can secretly record all of us. And you may hear a harsher stance on some of these things, because I don't want to come out and say black people are destroying America. I don't want to come out and say that.
I'll come out and say
I think, and I try not to say, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I think that this rhetoric that's being pushed by these woke left-wing black people are really destroying our country, man. Our police are under attack. Jussie Smolletts are popping up, and what's his name? Ryan Clark. I don't know if y'all know if you
the football player.
Yeah, you watch football.
He's garbage.
He the wokest dude I've ever seen in my life. He cried. His son. Some lady said something crazy to his son in the drive-through of some Wendy's or something. This fool got on TV and cried about it. The oppression. He stayed in a mansion. I think he lived out here in Arizona. I saw him at the airport the other day. Probably living a $1 million mansion. His son probably driving a BMW 7 Series, and he crying because a white lady said, "I don't like black people" or something.
She allegedly dropped the N-bomb on him. I think this part of this goes back to what ABO was saying about high value men. You got to be a man about some things, and it's got to be like BB's off a battleship. Pew! I didn't even feel that. Or if I came home in tears, and it's even more ridiculous that he's crying, he wasn't even there. But let's say I was in his son's shoes, and I come home to my dad, say, Dad, some lady called me the N-word at the drive-thru, whatever. My dad would look me up and down. I'd be like, Dad, what are you looking for? I'm looking for the marks and the bruises on you to justify these tears. Did she hit you? Did she push you down? Did she kick you in the shin? Why are you crying? It's a word. Did you say something back to her? And you know what? My dad is so old school. Even if I did say something back to her, he'd probably get mad at me for disrespecting my elder. But the point is, that is nothing to cry about, especially if you weren't there. What do you think that tells people? It tells people, oh, black folks are so fragile. They don't even got it. They get secondhand racism and they cry, like secondhand smoke. You ain't even smoking the cigarettes. You weren't even there, fool, and you crying like
too soft.
Man,
you can't
I
use
would
stuff like that.
leave.
You know, that's the thing. Like if you crying over some words that would say when you weren't even there, what else are you crying about? How are you holding your household together? You be the type of guy that will completely fall apart if you lose $1 out of your paycheck. You can't do that, man, to be a man.
Man,
Now,
I would
look,
leave.
Let me add one more thing to a high value man. A high value man also understands personal responsibility. These people out here that claim to be high value men, if you listen to them, they always play the blame game on people. That's one of the greatest attributes of being a high value man is personal responsibility. They even take responsibility in things that clearly most people would say that wasn't your fault, but it's another level of leadership. It's taking full responsibility. It's a different way of living. So I just wanted to add that in there, man. I mean, we can go deeper later.
What you say?
You got to pay the cost to be the boss.
Got to pay the cost, bro. There ain't time for no excuses if you want to win. There ain't no time for excuses.
It
ain't no time for.
I don't have no post-traumatic stress from no daggone slavery, man.
No,
I'm working. I work. Sometimes I fail. When I fail, I learn from it. It's highlighting what I suck at, what I got to get better at. And when people need to understand, when you fail, it gives you the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. So this society we have now is just, man.
If anything, our past makes me hungrier to do well, because I know that people that look like me in this country a long time ago were getting beat and didn't have no access to any of the things that I have today. And some of them fought and died to give us opportunities. And even white people did too. They fought along with black people that wanted to see us free, wanted to see us have opportunities. And why wouldn't that motivate you to go harder and harder and harder? Because you should be able to look back and say, my ancestors had to go through so much and I got it good. I need to pay, respect by winning, because they worked way harder than us. Some of these people, I would imagine Booker T. Washington and Frederick Douglass, they worked way harder than us to get to where they're at. We should be killing what they doing. But let me play this video because I want y'all to see him cry.
Brandon, you almost you about to get me going, man.
Craig, go ahead and say it, Craig. Go ahead.
And this is what they say, messaging. And they say my approach is, and we're tearing and we're putting us black folks down in America. If you listen to what I'm saying, I even reference our ancestors and forefathers. Do you realize they worked so hard to their muscles detached from the bone? Do you think we have any ounce of that in 2021?
Nope.
It's sad that the people keep comparing. They want to hold on to the pitfalls of the past, but they don't want to grasp onto the strengths that our ancestors and forefathers had in this country that contributed to building this country, that also understood that we have to exist and work together, that not all people have the hate filled in their heart. So I do the same thing you do, Brandon. I adapt the spirit and the same attributes that people that came before me. They worked hard. They went through real challenges, man. And I don't understand how people don't want to grasp onto that. They want to grasp onto somehow they got post-traumatic stress and there's some white supremacy dust floating in the air and why they breathe it in and why the reasons why they fail and have bad behavior. It's ridiculous, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I want to play this real quick because, and y'all know how disingenuous, and I'm just being honest, how disingenuous most black people like him are. They're disingenuous. Do you really think this occurred? 3 Arizona State football players say that they were called racial slurs by a Whataburger customer, not even the people that work there. It was a customer.
Is it even a thing to report? Why even tell anybody that? I mean, like, are you tattletaling? That's kind of what it sounds like to me. You 3 grown men, big grown football players, oh, somebody called me a name. I wish I would say that when I was a child to my parents. You got adult, grown football players saying that.
Yep.
And look, it says players say manager comped customers' meal and witnessed event, threatened to call police on players. Now think about this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. You telling me that legitimately at Whataburger, I mean, you're assuming everybody in America is a racist, a raging racist.
You can't make this up.
That they were done wrong, witnessed by Whataburger staff, and the Whataburger staff comped the person who called them a racial slur, and then threatened to call the police on the players, and they weren't doing nothing.
Yep.
They weren't doing nothing.
You know, that man, look, 3 college-age young men, they're probably more annoying than any other group of people in the world. And let's say that lady did call them that. But let's also say, what if they deserved it? What if they were being such obnoxious, little, you know what I want to say, and that lady got sick of it and said, you little, boom. All right, fine. Let's say that did happen. You guys don't have the ability to speak, say something back to her. If you say something like that to me and 3 of my boys at that age, it's about to be roast fest, whatever year it happened in. But I'm not going to go crying. This ain't going to make it on the news. This ain't going to make it out of the restaurant. That is sad and disgusting, and it's a snapshot of what they want us to be. And real quick, what Craig was saying, you know how they say knowledge is power, so is personal responsibility. That is power. That is telling you I can do this. I can fail and recover and do it again even better. That's what keeps people downtrodden and weak and suckling from the teat of idiots like this fool that's about to cry on national TV for something he wasn't even there for. Can you go around saying, man, I got PTSD? No, I was never in battle. I was never even in the military. But man, just because people in my family were, I got PTSD. I can't be around fireworks. You would be laughed at and called an idiot, and you should be. No damn PTSD. You know what my grandpa was doing for work? He worked in a slaughterhouse, and when the cows fell in the room below, if they weren't dead at 12 years old, he had to hit them in the head with a sledgehammer. You know what my first job was? McDonald's. Get out of here.
You know, it's funny. It's funny because I forgot. Oh, somebody had criticized me for saying Whataburger. It's called Whataburger, but I just call it Whataburger. Okay, get over yourself.
Same thing. Hey, Tatum, hold on, right quick before you push play. I just want to say this: these guys are quick to tell about getting called the N-word, but somebody could get murdered in their neighborhood,
and they ain't gonna say
everybody would see it, and don't nobody say nothing. It'd be a dead body. Everybody saw it. Hey, who killed him? Oh, I don't know. He just died,
bro. Nah, bro, it ain't no snitching, bro. We don't snitch. We don't talk to the 5-0. They the first one calling now. She called me the N-word while they bumping a song talking about killing black people in the N-word every 5 minutes. And they so offended. Bro, this is what I don't understand about modern black folks like this. Why are you so offended at the N-word? I don't understand. I used to hear nin my whole life. I used to, every 5 minutes, I'm in this, in that, me and my homeboy. I remember one time I was embarrassed. We up in the middle of the mall area on campus with nothing but white people. And he like, oh, this is this. I'm like, bro, hold on, bro. We can do that in the locker room, bro. We ran all these white people. We actually look stupid right now because they looking at us like, why are they saying the N-word like this? I thought it was a hurtful slogan, you know. So, but let me play this real quick.
He hit you with the Hunter Jones. Don't be charging me them Hennessy prices, my
yeah, them Hennessy prices. Let me play this video because I just want people to see what we were talking about. This is an NFL player, arguably, I think he probably made the Pro Bowl a couple times. This dude got money falling out his ears. Probably living somewhere in a multi-million-dollar house here in Arizona, and probably got a house somewhere else. But let me play this video and just see the stupidity that we're talking about.
White, because those were the schools that I felt could give him the best opportunity to succeed. But he was always treated as Ryan Clark's son, and he's faced racism and he's heard the word, but it never affected him in this way. And I felt like I didn't prepare him for this situation enough to know as a black man, you can't walk up to cars. You can't wave down cars with white people in it because your life is not of value to all of them.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
I'm blessed that my child is still here. I like it's something.
Oh, he crying.
It would have broken me. And so for me, I got to do a better job of educating him, and I got to protect
He
him.
Randy Mossed us. He can hit us with the Randy Moss.
You know how to live
Sir.
and made it out. And so
Stop.
Bro, you at a Whataburger. You think your kid gonna get smoked at a Whataburger? Probably an old white lady in the car, terrified. And then you got to think. I think that what happened was they end up going up to the window or something. They did something where they overtly did something. And I would argue that lady never called him the N-word. I will bet $1,000 that lady never called them the N-word. I would bet $1,000. I feel like what happened was they got crazy with her, and they all getting loud. And then the Whataburger was like, "We're gonna call the police on y'all," and they got offended. And because we black. And then when the police come or whatever they did, they threw out the N-word. Oh, she called us the N-word. White people are afraid to say the N-word. And you telling me 3 football players are out there, and you're gonna say the N-word.
Yeah, the where's the beef lady is going to say that to 3 starting tight ends for Arizona State.
Lies.
What's even worse are the white liberals chock full of guilt who are on the set with them, who after they say something like this goes, man, I can't say anything. I can't speak on it because I don't know, but I can only imagine. I can only imagine too. I don't believe that crap. I don't believe that just because my son is black that nobody cares about his life and he can't walk up to cars. What are you talking about, fool?
All these white people.
How do you suppose he said he didn't prepare his son? How do you prepare your kid to deal with that? Prepare your kid by teaching him respect. That's all you have to do. Because if he had respect and his head wasn't filled with "I'm Ryan Clark's son," that situation never would have happened. Are you kidding me?
He Randy Mossed us, man.
He don't care about them white girls he dating.
Exactly. Let's see his date profile. Man, that is such crap. And for that fool, man, if I felt tears welling up right now on this live stream, if I feel some tears welling up, you're about to see me get up and walk out of frame. There's no way in the
Walk
world.
out of frame.
Off of something like that? Off of something you weren't even there for? Like, if that really did happen, there would be a sense of, man, that sucks that my kid had to deal with that. But am I going to shed tears days later at work? No, I'm not. No, thank you. What a buster.
Man, he hit us with the Randy Moss, man. This set us back, man. This set us back.
No, you're setting us back. You acting like that.
You can't be on TV
setting
crying.
us back.
You can't be on TV crying, man. I mean, you got to hold yourself. What are you crying about though? Like it's just again, go back to being soft. You can't be soft like that, man. That's not a good example for your son, not at all. Because where's your emotional control at? How is he going to handle himself out there in Arizona if you can't control his emotions,
bruh?
How about on the football field,
bruh?
You be like Vontae's Burfict getting all them crazy late penalty hits, and you be fining your whole contract because you can't control your emotions,
bro. I played football in college, bro. You can't. A white lady call you the N-word and you were hurt, bro. We used to fight in the locker room with each other. We used to say all kind of racist stuff to each other. We talk about the white boys. They talk about us. We talk about gay. We talk about all kind of stuff. On the practice field, you fight with people because somebody did a late hit. Now y'all fighting, calling each other the N-word.
Like a fist fight.
Bro, y'all.
Yeah, not a Jussie fight. Not a Smollett fight.
Real fighting, bro. I fought like 2 or 3 of my teammates. We dusted off and we cool after that. But bro, I fought a couple of my teammates on the football field because it gets intense, bro. You playing football, you hitting other grown men full throttle. You gonna fight. You gonna get into a mosque. I mean, look at all the fights in the NFL. Alex Clark probably fought a couple dudes while he was playing. And a white lady call you something and you broken.
What a weenie. He wasn't even there, and this is days later. This is days later.
Oh, Randy.
And watch the dude after. Watch what they say after he cries.
Look at
Oh,
I got,
Randy.
I got my guy Randy.
This is my thing with Randy. This is my thing with the Randy situation. Where was these crocodile tears? Where was this same energy when Antonio Brown called his GM a cracker?
Yeah.
This guy talking about, oh, this set us back. This set us back because somebody called somebody a rubber mouth. Man, everybody knows what rubber mouth is. And every guy in here, especially if you was on the football team, you know what soup coolers mean. So, dude, this is nothing but it's black privilege.
Bro,
look, y'all don't want to say it. I'm gonna say it. This is black privilege, and it's popular right now for these people to be on here trying to get a Grammy Awards crying with these fake crocodile tears. You hit it on the nail, AB. They thugs when they're on the football field. They thugs anywhere else. But as soon as they go get them a cheeseburger through the drive-through and claim some old white lady or whoever called them something, all of a sudden now they melt down and they got post-traumatic stress and depression and all this old nonsensical stuff. You can't make this stuff up, man.
Let's put this in perspective, bro. Let's put this in perspective. Randy Moss, beloved. Most people that are watching football and going to these games are white people. They kissing the floor that Randy Moss walks on. He has if you catch a ball a certain way, it's called you got mossed.
Yeah, Moss.
This dude is one of the most beloved football players to ever play. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's on television with a bunch of white people. Ain't everybody white here except I think he ain't white.
They tried to cry with him. They was over there trying to cry with him.
Oh, look, watch it. I want y'all to see it. Y'all look at this tomfoolery. Here you go.
And you think of him as the leader in terms of the decision maker, but not necessarily a leader.
Shut up.
I'm curious from your perspective, Randy.
Why do white people always got to be like, I don't know what's going on in the world. Black people, can you tell me if this is right or
I
not?
You were in that locker room today. Would you be able to play for him?
You know,
Yeah.
Speaking of Teddy's point, you know, basically,
I was shocked that Randy Moss I heard him talk before. I was shocked Randy Moss is this country. Like Randy Moss got such a thick country accent.
You're from my hometown, actually, West Virginia, West Virginia, and that's how we all sound up there. My family members, that's how they sound.
If you didn't had a camera on, you would thought he was a country white dude. But anyway,
here's talking about we got work to do, we got a job to do, and that's to provide for our families. And Teddy hit it right on the head of just putting your head down and going playing football. You know, I speak about the game of football. I fell in love with the game of football when I was 6 years old, and I get emotional talking about it because
here we go.
situations like this. My civil rights were taken. Were kind of messed with in high school.
We're kind of hold on,
kind of messed with.
hold on,
kinda.
He
Kind of
almost
messed with.
lied, and he had to catch himself.
He said, "Hold on, wait a minute."
He almost said my civil rights was taken from me, but nobody on planet Earth will believe that. My civil rights were kind of messed with. But they were kissing your butt in high school. Let me finish it.
I'm being able to play 14 years in the National Football League.
Oh God!
To have something like this of a leader. We talk about leadership. We give guys these big contracts because they want to be able to lead 70 men, coaches, equipment staff, and managers to the number one goal, that's to win the championship. And for us to be moving back and not forward in the first century, like I said, man, National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man.
National Football League, this hurts me.
Was he about to get open? Why is he doing that?
Bubba Gump shrimp.
It hurts me.
Coconut shrimp, fried shrimp, shrimp and potatoes. Man, what the hell?
This hurts me.
Last of the Motisa tribe.
That is nothing to cry about, dog. I don't care if Gruden's email was a solid paragraph of the N-word over and over and over again, signed sincerely N-word. 10 years, I don't even care.
10 years ago. 10 years ago.
I don't even care. He's never said that to me. He's never said it around me. I mean, let's start sticking microphones in all these people's faces or putting a little microphone in their shirt pocket when they're hanging out with their boys. The way they talk, man.
But hold on.
Off of YouTube in 30 seconds if I talked on here the way I do with my boy.
But Jericho, you know how they call people Karens, and then their Karens start crying like that. Ain't that what they doing? They doing the same thing.
Even worse.
They doing literally the same thing on national TV though.
At least Karen's a female. Man, what the hell is wrong with
I told
people,
you they
man?
call beta male shaquishas. They are literally acting like their mother and their grandmama.
Not low testosterone, no testosterone.
They got no
like,
T.
You know,
You know how they say
adolescent.
the thing about Randy is that he is or was married to a white lady from West Virginia, where he's from, where I was born at. A lot of family up there. He got mixed kids in West Virginia. Everybody loves him. It's 99.9% white state. So I don't know where this is coming from, really. Like, it's not really reality. I think people get hyped to all this racial stuff. They get hyped up on it and they start to believe it, but it's not really real. When you go back home, Randy, everybody love you. It ain't no problems. So why you getting on TV crying about racism and stuff like that? That's not the reality that you face every day.
He go back home to his white woman, and they go to eat sushi and stuff. And you know, he try to act like it's just such a big deal. Man, these people, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like, I don't get how football players do this, because when I was playing sports, man, when I was playing ball, there was black people on the team and white people on the team, and we loved each other, man. We fought for each other. We rode for each other. There was no racism, wasn't a real thing, man. And I mean, we never really experienced it overtly. But why would you sit up and try to act like all these white people are so bad when you're probably your high school coach? I think where did he go to school at ABL? I think he went to Tulsa or Marshall. Went to Marshall. His white football, I don't know if his coach was white, but I'm assuming that his coach was white. And then NFL coaches are white. These owners are paying them crazy amount of contracts, taking a boy out the ghetto, paying them big money to play on these teams. And then all of a sudden they always backtrack and be like, oh, the white man. If I was white, and this is something I talked to my wife about. This is another thing. If y'all caught me secretly recorded, you'll hear me say this. But if I was white, I'd be sick of black people at this point. I ain't even lying. I'd be sick of them. Every time I turn the TV on,
I'm black and I'm sick of them. I ain't got to be white. I'm black and I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. I am. I'm sick of everything that's going on. Joe Biden was right. They are beyond the pale. Beyond the pale.
Dude, I don't want to say that. I don't want to sound superfluous, and I don't want to sound like I'm just attacking or whatever. But like, you got to think about it. All of this fake stuff that go on, all of this black people can literally get on TV and say white people are the problem with America, and that white people need to go back and rethink. I mean, all of them. They're indicting every white person in America, saying these incredibly insensitive things to white people who they work for and who pay them money and have given them opportunities. Like Colin Kaepernick. Your family, they rescued you and raised you. And you gonna spit in their face and say all white people are a certain way. And we're not saying all black people, it's just these dummies. And they are the ones with the loudest voice. You know, anyway, I'm trying to find that clip that he defended Ruggs. I think this is the one. He defended Henry Ruggs, but he made a statement about Henry Ruggs because Henry Ruggs killed that girl 150 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. He come on and be like, we can't just throw him away. We can't just throw away Henry Ruggs.
Right. He threw himself away.
He a person that wasn't his character. This is something he did, but he want Gruden to pretty much go to hell. It's like, bro, Gruden said some words. Henry Ruggs killed somebody.
Yeah.
In a completely unnecessary act of violence with a vehicle and killed somebody.
What about her personality? What about her as a person? I'm sure there were people in her life who enjoyed her personality, who enjoyed who she was, who didn't want her life thrown away. Sorry, you made an extremely stupid decision and you got to pay for it. And if you need to be thrown away, throw them away. How do you defend that nonsense? You'll cry over some emails from 10 years ago that you never laid eyes on, but you're not going to shed a tear for this girl who had her life snuffed out, her life taken away at 23 years old. Which one of those things need to be cried about? Definitely not no damn emails from somebody that you don't even talk to anymore from 10 years ago, man. I don't even care. If his email said, I am a racist, period. I don't care. I'm not there to care.
Look,
I'm there to catch this ball and make more money than I can count, period.
Right. Look, let me clarify something, because when I said I'm getting sick of the black folks, it's not all black folks. I'm getting sick of the ignorance, the ones that push the destructive culture, the ones that make excuses for people that don't take responsibility, such as many of these different incidences that happen, from the guy that drove over people at a Christmas parade, to people that go into a kid going to a school shooting people, to Jussie Smollett, you name it. Those are the people that are getting on my nerves. Those are the black folks that I am irritated with and sick of, because they make all of us look bad, and not all of us act like that. Not all of us think like that. Not all of us have that hatred, anger, and resentment in our hearts. So I just wanted to clarify that to those that are in the comment section saying that, man, I'm white, or man, how can you say that? Those are the people that I'm talking about.
Yeah, and anybody with a connected brainstem know exactly what we're talking about. Clearly, we black men on this panel, and clearly that we're talking about these people, these types, these Ryan Clark types that get on here and they talk about we go back to the past. All these guys do is virtue signal. They are showing a pretty wimpish example of what black men are. We used to not be like this. Martin Luther King wasn't running around crying all the time. He just demanded that our country uphold the Constitution as it was written. That's all he did. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, Man of Honor. I cried in that movie almost every time I've watched it. Do y'all know Man of Honor? Or I may be saying it wrong.
Men of Honor? You mean like the different documentaries?
No, bro. It was Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
It may be called something else, like Man of Honor.
Men of Honor or something like that. Where he was a scuba diver.
Yep, he was scuba diver. Yeah, he was in the military. And dude, that movie like, if people haven't seen that movie, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, dude. It'll. That's why I like Cuba until he start touching women and doing all this tomfoolery. But this movie right here, it'll break your heart, and it's based on a true story. Obviously, this is a person that actually existed. But when you see his never quit mentality, when they throw him in, somebody said scuba diving is deep sea, but when they threw him in to the water and they took his tools apart and they scattered them all over the water, when everybody else had a little tool bag and they go down there and they do it, they threw his all over the freaking water. He spent hours. They were like, pull him up, man. He gonna die. You can't just let him do it. He never quit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this little trailer so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Because I think that people need to, well, not the ad. God dang it. Just watch the ad.
He went through that, so we don't have to.
Right.
Now we can't do that.
God dang it, what I do? Watch this trailer real quick.
Dangerous job in the Navy. If it's lost underwater, the Navy diver finds it. If it's sunk, he brings it up. If it's lucky, he'll die young.
So let me clarify. It's a Navy diver. I didn't want to be disrespectful to the military, but he's an actual Navy diver.
200 feet beneath the waves, for that is the closest he will ever get to being a hero. My name is Master Chief Billy Sunday, and I am God. Get up there, come on!
You get in there and fight, Carl. Won't quit on me. Ever.
Reporting for diving school. You know what the Chinese say, Cookie? Beware what
So you call him Cookie.
you wish for.
Some things just don't mix. Do they, Chief?
Time for training.
They were separated by rank.
You let go before I relieve you. You fail my course right now.
Permission to relieve the man below, Master Chief.
I got no room in my class for heroes.
So let me fast forward, because this is at the very end. It's where it gets.
I'm gonna watch this weekend.
Don't spoil it.
However, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for our greatest tradition of all.
Nobody's thing's playing so loud.
So
yeah, anyway, y'all get it. But dude, this is the craziest movie I've ever seen. And it inspired me. I cried. His effort, he never quit, man. No matter how racist they were to him, throwing his tube bag, and they tried to get him fired 100 times. He still had integrity. He still fought for the white guys who were on the thing. He made it to the very end, and he persevered.
A high value man.
Exactly.
There you go.
And I think that was his dad he was talking to in the beginning, who told him not to quit. That's step number one, to have one of those. Yeah. But that guy and thousands of men just like him went through that, had their tools thrown everywhere, had to stay in separate barracks, were called names out in the open because it was societally acceptable to do that. So they went through that. So today they can't do that. Let some black dude be in a special training, maybe the same one, and they take his tools and nobody else's. and throw them in the water. What's going to happen to who did that? It don't even got to get to the media. As soon as it gets to their CO or their division officer, it's a wrap because people like him went through that. So don't say they did that for nothing, because if you went back in a time machine and said, hold up, Cuba Gooding, real quick before you do this, it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to appreciate it. And people the same color as you are going to sit there and say that it meant nothing. So do you still want to do it? If I were him, I'd be like, hell no, I'm not doing it for them. They don't even appreciate it. You're going to say that it was for nothing and we're in the same spot as I am here in 1940 something? That's an insult. I'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. If they don't appreciate it, let them go through it just like me. But they didn't do that. They took care of business. They got the laws changed so we can be out here acting the way we act, doing what we do, just like everybody else. There is no separate barracks for blacks and whites now. There is no you can't do that now. Back in the day, entertainers couldn't even enter through the front door. They had to go through the kitchen. Somebody going to tell Beyonce she got to go through the kitchen? Hell no.
Beyonce owned the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play this clip.
That was a great. I've seen the movie already. I saw it on the plane. Great movie right here. You about to play.
Movie, right? Oh boy,
have y'all seen this? I saw it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's a lot of cussing and stuff in it, which I didn't like it that much. I didn't like that part, but I think it has some good. I mean, first of all, Denzel Washington, to me, by far, is the best actor I've ever. I mean, the dude is such an incredible actor, and he probably has incredible character. I don't know him. But I want to play this 51-second clip. Y'all bear with me, 51-second clip. I think this is, I don't agree with everything the way he said it, but I think this is kind of how black men used to talk to their young boys, used to talk to their young men in a very harsh, militant way, but with love and holding them accountable. Yep. Now they're not crying, they doing what they doing this.
How come you ain't never liked me?
Like you? Who the hell said I got to like you?
Mm-hmm.
What law is there say I got to like you? Want to stand up in front of my face and ask a damn fool-ass question like that? Talking about liking somebody. Come here, boy, when I talk to you. Straighten up, damn it. I asked you a question. What law is there say I got to like you?
None.
All right, then. Don't you eat every day? Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day?
Yeah.
As long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me.
Yes, sir.
You eat every day.
Yes, sir.
Got a roof over your head.
Yes, sir.
Got clothes on your back.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that is?
Because of you.
Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is?
Because you like me.
I don't know. Oh, he cut the good part out because he goes on to say, he goes on to say, because you like me. No, it ain't. I got to play the good part because he said, no, it ain't because I like you.
The crescendo, yeah.
I got to play the good part. Let's see. Maybe this one is a good video clip. He said, no, it ain't because I like you, because I have a responsibility.
Yes.
You are my son. I have a duty. This is how I talk to my son. Now I don't do all that, but I do tell him, look me in the eye when I talk to you. Look at me when I talk to you.
100%.
Come over, stand in front of me, look at me in my eye. Don't you you talk to your boys like that. They need to see a strong man. I tell my son the same thing. I would tell my son the same thing. I don't have to like you. You think
but Brandon, our job is not to like our children.
Right.
Our job, our position, our obligation, duty, and responsibility as a man, a father to our children is to correct them, to criticize them in a productive way. If we don't critique and criticize them when they're wrong or they need to get better at something, we don't give them perspective when we don't look them in the eye and talk to them with firm voices and correct where they're wrong. This is what's wrong with our society now. That movie is a great example of fatherhood. It's actually a remake of the Play Fence, which had the what's the other guy?
James Earl Jones.
Yes, always had the deep voice.
Oh man,
great clip.
His kids listen.
It's funny because if we go back to the values that most of us are brought up on, Christian values, even in the Bible, right? And again, I'm no preacher or pastor, and that's a parent. Even the Bible says you should always honor thy mother and honor thy father and your mother, no matter what. Our society needs to go back to those value systems. We can't even talk to our kids like this no more. I do, but I really feel that there's a lack of this type of conversation in the homes, man. They don't and why I say that is there's a lack of respecting authority. If there's no authority in the home, we have a problem. If they don't respect authority, then when they're faced with police officers that are in a position of authority, they do the exact same things that they've been doing at their home when their mothers and their grandmamas is raising them. So this is why you need fatherhood. You need examples just like this clip of good fatherhood, and tell them, hey, my job ain't to like you. I ain't supposed to like you. My job is not to be your friend. I'm your parent. As much as I strive to be your friend, I still understand I'm also your parent. I can only be but so cool with you until it's time for me to do what I'm supposed to do, and that is to critique you, to build you up to be a good woman, a good man, so that you can go out and be respectful to yourself and to other people in this society, so that other people will respect who you are, so that you can lead by example.
100%. You like is a very fickle term. And if you live your life with doing things you like or don't like, you'll be flip-flopping. It's that
Correct.
It doesn't matter what you like. It matters what your responsibility is. It's even like when you're married. Some things my wife may do, which is rare, but she do things that I don't like. That don't mean nothing to a marriage. She may not like something that I do. I may get to the point where I'm mad at her for a week and I don't like her. It don't matter if you like a person or not. You have a responsibility and a commitment that goes beyond your emotional, fickle responses. Let me play this little clip.
Facts.
Eat every day. Answer me when I talk to you. Don't you eat every day? Yeah. Nigga, as long as you in my house, you put a sir on the end of it when you talk to me. Yes, sir. You eat every day. Yes, sir. Got a roof over your head. Yes, sir. Got clothes on your back. Yes, sir. Why you think that is? Because of you? Hell, I know it's because of me. But why do you think that is? Because you like me? Like you. I go out in the morning. I bust my butt putting up with them crackers every day because I like you. You're about the biggest fool I ever saw. It's my job. It's my responsibility. A man is supposed to take care of his family. You live in my house, fill your belly with my food, put your behind on my bed because you're my son. Because I like you, because it's my duty to take care of you. I owe a responsibility to you. Now, let's get this straight right here and now before I go along any further. I ain't got to like you. Mr. Rand don't give me my money come payday because he like me. He give it to me because he owe me. Now, I don't give you everything I got to give you. I give you your life. Me and your mama worked that out between us, and liking your black ass wasn't part of the bargain. Now, don't you go through life worrying about whether somebody like you or not. You best be making sure they're doing right by you. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, then get the hell out of my face and get on down to that A&P.
There you go.
That's what a father. And then these feckless fathers, or some of the fathers that are not involved, they are not getting to their children like this. I ain't trying to be cool with you. I don't care if you mad at me. At the end of the day, I'm a grown man. I have a responsibility to you. Sometimes I don't like the situation I'm in. I don't like what had happened, transpired. I don't like the way the situation went between me and my son's mama.
Yep.
That ain't got nothing to do with my responsibility. I feel bad and I'm hurt sometimes that my oldest son don't live here. That has nothing to do with my responsibility, even though I think certain things about his mama and as a parent. But when she called me because he cutting up, a part of me wants to say, go screw yourself, because the boy should be living with me and I wouldn't have to discipline him on the phone. But that doesn't matter because I have a responsibility. So I still get on that phone and I still lecture him, and I make sure that my son is not going to grow up and be a dummy. He's not going to grow up and be disrespectful. I don't care if I'm 1,000 miles away, if I'm light years away. I have a responsibility to my child, whether he's at my house or at his mama house. And I wish that men would take pride in that responsibility. And I tell my son all the time, I say, you are a Tatum. And my father's father told him that your name means something. My father tells me, boy, your name means something. And I tell my son, your name means something. When you at school and you doing what you do, you're a reflection of me. You're a reflection of your grandfather, our family name. You put some respect on it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell my son. And you a
100%.
reflection, so you need to behave yourself at school. It ain't just about you. It's about who you're representing. And, you know, I get passionate about that because I believe fathers need to step their game up. These young boys out here thugging and they acting stupid and they going and they abusing women. They treat women a certain way because they daddy ain't telling them nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to say something about that too, because my dad was that exact same way that we saw in the clip. You know, I was a boy until like last year when he passed. What's up, boy? You doing all right? Like that was my name. Never Anthony, just boy. That's it. And then, you know, it was always just so yes, sir, no, sir. I learned that at an early age. And when I meet people for the first time, like, hey man, you been in the military, been in something like, nah, no military. It's just because I was raised. My dad was in the military, uncle was in the military, granddad. So I got that lineage from them. You know, understanding how to behave, understanding how to be disciplined, understanding how to carry myself. It matters a lot. And a lot of people, they just go out here, have kids randomly, and don't understand the value of a dad. They don't understand the value of a father. It's very, very important. They think, well, I got money, I got a PhD, does that and the third, I can just raise the child on my own. It's like, no. That's not how humans operate. You got to have that male and female, the mother and the father. It's very important. Very, very important. If you don't have either one, or there's an issue with either one, you're going to have problems. That's just how it goes. You may have some that arise from that and become, you know, fantastic, but generally that's not what happens. You got to have your father, and he's got to be a man. That's part of being the high value man right there. And that man in that film was not by any means rich, not perfect at all, but he still was a man, and he was able to communicate that to his son, telling him, hey, I don't gotta like you, but I have responsibility. I have duty. That's my obligation, regardless of how I feel about you. You know, men can't operate on feelings. You know, we can't do that, because if that was the case, then nothing would get done. That's why a lot of women, and nothing against women, I'm just saying, a lot of women don't want to vote for a female president because they understand how feelings operate. They understand that sometimes their hormones are raging and they can't really control how they feel. They crying. Why are you crying? I don't know why I'm crying. They understand that about themselves. Men can't do that. We got to be the balance to make sure everything is in alignment. At the same time, we got to have women so they can come with the emotional communication and that intelligence that we don't do very well in. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah, and, you know, most of the stuff, 90% of the stuff your kids learn from you, more specifically your sons, is just through watching how you treat your mom. You know, it's good for you to walk in the room and catch your parents kissing and be grossed out. You know, it's good to see how your father interacts with other men, how he shakes their hand when he sees them and looks them in their face. How, if my dad would always tell me, if your word ain't nothing, you ain't nothing. If you tell somebody you're going to do it, you got to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't tell them. But once you put your word on something, that's you. You are your word. And we can be friends later. When you're an adult, man, we can crack some beers and you can ask me some questions about, Dad, that one time. We can, you know, somewhat be peers. But until then, man, I got friends. I got friends, you got friends. So we don't need each other. We don't need to be friends with each other. Will there be affection and love? Of course, there'll be tender moments. Being a man is not just controlling your emotions and bottling your emotions up. You need to let those emotions out. You need to have a tender side to you as a man, especially with kids. But when it comes to this day-to-day, when it comes to this grind of parenting, no, there's clear lines. I'm the parent, you're the child. And it's not just because I got the job and I got the money, because that's how it needs to be. Because I need to teach you, I need to prepare you before I unleash you on the world. You need to have tools. Whether or not you plan on using them, that's up to you, but I'm going to give them to you. And number one is respect of yourself. Because if you don't respect yourself, man, nobody going to think about respecting you. The world ain't the place to build yourself up and create yourself. You'll change over time, but some things need to be in place when you leave that house, when you go out in the world. And respect is big, especially for yourself. And as a man, hey, there's certain things that are required of us, and that's what we need to do. And I'm gonna teach you how to do it. And what I noticed in that clip is when he called his son the N-word, it's the way he said it. He said it as an insult, not as a word that we use like the and. He said that word had power because he's I'm getting your attention. I'm letting know that you're doing something wrong by calling you this. It's not part of our everyday speak. In my house, if my parents said that word about somebody, it was bad. That person was doing something wrong. You don't want to be like that. So that, coming from that kind of upbringing where I didn't hear that a lot growing up, as far as in my home, that word was an insult. And my parents never called me that, but if I did, I would know I'm in big trouble because that's a bad word and that's a bad kind of person. And I will not be putting another one of those. My mom would tell me, there's enough sorry men in the world. I'm not putting out another one. And you can get the cheap lesson today, or you could buy the expensive lesson tomorrow.
I want to add something real quick. I'm gonna be transparent with the audience and with you guys on the panel. Like, a lot of people don't know right now, I'm at odds with my father. Right, I'm at odds with my father behind just my stance and my views on when it comes to politics and how I go about different things that happens with Americans that are Black in America. Right, so we're a little bit at odds because of that. But like I said earlier, I understand we should always honor our fathers and our mothers, and I will always honor my father. My father has a unique way of getting his point to me, no matter how stubborn he is. He's an ex-military guy. He's very stubborn. My son is just turned 8 years old. I tell the same thing to my son my dad told to me at the same age, and my dad instilled into me at an early age. When you first don't succeed, try again. Till this day, when things get tough and things start getting hard, and I we all look like to the sky and we asking God, why is this happening? I don't understand. I always remember that and I keep it with me. When you first don't succeed, try again. So I want to give this interesting thing and how he was able to communicate with me the importance of the role of me being a father. This was back when my son, I think he was at the time like a year and a half, almost 2 years old, I want to say. I worked extremely hard, right? Most people that have levels of success, if you dig into how they got there, they worked very hard. And I was somebody that worked very hard, but I always maintained being a good father and being present in my son's life, no matter what. My son's mother asked, she came to me. We were already split. We were doing the co-parenting, always was cordial about it. One day she asked me and she said, hey, I got an opportunity to move in Florida. And at the time I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina. With no hesitation, I automatically knew, like, all right, this is going to be a tough decision for me as a father with allowing her to leave the state with my child. But I made a leadership move, because it's important to me that my son's mother is successful. That's his mother. So I told her, just go. And I knew I would figure it out. Well, and through time of me talking to my son over the phone, I would fly down there to see him in Florida. I couldn't take it no more. It was beating me up, being away and seeing my son grow up over the phone. So I was starting to put things in place, which is still the things I was putting in place was to take everything that I ever saved and invest and open a business in an area that I didn't know a soul, right? In the Bible, it says that as well. Plan like an adult, but believe like a child. And that's exactly what I did. But before I left, my father sent me these lyrics to a song called Cat in the Cradle. I don't know if you can pull it up, but it's powerful, man. If you read it, it's a very powerful, the words and lyrics in that song of Cat in the Cradle is very powerful. And basically, I'll give you a quick synopsis of it. Basically, it's saying the son is literally watching and looking up to the father. Everything that Jericho just said, everything that Brandon said, everything that ABL says, that said on the panel, we have to remember our children are looking up to us. They're watching. If we're sitting at the couch watching TV all day, if we're not exercising, we're eating unhealthy, if we're arguing with the spouse, whatever that is, or maybe it's positive things. Maybe they see me setting up the studio and they're like, wow, you got these computers and ABL's telling you get these. get all these different things, and you know what I mean? Your kids are watching. So if you read the lyrics to the song Cat in the Cradle, it's basically the son saying, Dad, I want to grow up to be just like you. I want to grow up to be just like you. But the dad always worked. He was always waiting. Someone to go play with him. But he said, no, son, I can't play yet because I got to go and I got to go work. He said, Dad, we're going to hang out. He said, yeah, son, soon we're going to hang out. But right now I got to go. Basically, the father always has something to do. The father was always gone. The son was looking up to him till eventually it switched to where the dad was asking him, hey, can we hang out? And the son was like, no, Pops, you know I got to run, got to get work. We got bills to pay. And the roles flip. But, and I'm not going to go too far into that. You have to go read the lyrics yourself. It just was unique the way he communicated that to me from father to son. Even though we clash, his words and his wisdom goes far, man. It literally put tears in my eyes. If you're going to cry about something, it's going to be cry about something that hits you home and makes you realize, all right, I got to step up to the plate. Long story short, I took the risk. I came out to a place where I didn't know a single soul, opened up a business. I didn't know nobody here just so that I can be closer to my son. That is the real reason why I'm in Florida. So just so you guys know the level of responsibility, duty, and obligation, there is real high value men out here that would do whatever it takes to take care of their kids, to make sure that they have a father figure in their life. These are the examples. These are the things. These are the extent that you got to go. So I'm not going to get long-winded with that. I just wanted to be transparent and share that with people. If they go and read those lyrics, it might hit home for them. Maybe they're a father, maybe they're a mother. But that you know, I ain't going to get too long-winded on that. Appreciate y'all letting me share that.
Yeah, man, it's a good point. There's somebody out here that probably have the exact same scenario or have the same story or maybe in a position where they need to hear that in its fruition, you know, the whole thing. You know, I think it's incredible, dude. I think that every father should take the steps necessary to be in their child's life. You know, but you know, I'll say it like this: every father should do that to the best of their ability, because you know, you got some stuff. I'm not dealing with that, but I know some dudes, man. They got some crazy baby mamas. You know, maybe they crazy too, but they got some situations where
I didn't say the mom won't crazy now. We ain't going to depth. I might have to vibe with you on that one. She's got a little bit of, but I'll digress. Maybe they can catch me on the camera talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at Craig. Look at Craig talking about his son's mama.
Yeah, and she be try to use in the court on you, man. You gotta watch out. Now I'm just playing. But no, I think it's good, man. It's incredible that we have these discussions because, you know, fathers are very important. And I know that some women are like, what about moms? Women are important. But like I said, I don't know about being a mama. You know, I know about being a daddy. And I know that my mama had influence, but I think the biggest influence on me as a man was my father. Watching how he get, you know, watching every day he get up to go to work, watching him study for his job. I had no excuse. My father would do things so well that what is my excuse? I'm a failure if I don't at least do what my father did. And I think that's important, man. Our young people are lost, man. They so soft. And somebody posed a question.
They really are.
Somebody posed a controversial question and said, what about a gay father? Now, let me just say this, and this is another you catch me on camera type thing, but I say if you this is the thing that I always think about people who are gay. Gay ain't who you are. Gay is something that you do. And if you somehow do this, but you are having equality and trying to raise your children right, and in my opinion, and you're not doing that in front of them, then I'd say I don't see a problem with that. But I don't think it's right that you try to raise a young man and you got him out here, you in there kissing another man or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's conducive for a young man, because what man are you? Are you the man are you the
catcher or the pitcher?
Right. Are you the man at the top or the bottom? I don't know. You know, and you know that I'm just being honest. Like I don't think that a man that's feminized can raise another man in this world that's gonna be a leader. You know, if you walking around swinging wrists and you soft and you a female and you laying up under your husband and your son see you laying up under another man, I just personally, I do not think that that's gonna raise a young man to have to be powerful and strong and have confidence. That's confusion. The boy don't know what you're doing. How you gonna show another man how to treat a wife, which I'm assuming that one day he will have a wife, unless you want him to be like you or forcing him to be like you. How you gonna teach him how to treat a wife and you ain't got no wife? And y'all playing husband and wife ain't the real thing. How you gonna teach a man how to be a man if you ain't a man? Or if I say you ain't a man, but if you are not pushing the characteristics of a young man in regular society, if you I don't know.
It'd be confusing though. It'd be confusing either way you go, because if you got two men, where's the male and female dynamic at? It's gonna be confusing. So the child, like I understand the thought process. Like a lot of these kids, if you're a gay parent, obviously you probably didn't have the kid on your own, you probably adopted or something like that. So I understand it's like a lot of these kids are in the street and they kind of get rescued by these gay dads or whatever. I understand. But at the same time, it's like it won't be perfect in that household just because of the dynamics. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be hard for them to grow up and understand how to navigate things properly. Now, I'm not saying anything against the father. Okay, you might be doing a great job or whatever. You're trying to do your best, but there's only so much you can do as a gay dad with no wife or no woman around. It's going to be hard for the kid to be raised in that environment.
And let me say this. I want to say this, and I'm going to shoot the mic. I will forever believe to the day I die that that's a choice that you make. You are
100%.
you are making a choice to do what you want to do, not what you have to do. Nobody forcing you, even if you're attracted to another man. Nobody are forcing you to do nothing with another man. Nobody's forcing you to do that. You are making the decision to say what I'm attracted to, because it ain't just love. A woman can love you. It ain't somebody being there for you, supportive, helping out around the house, because a woman can help you out around the house. It's about sexual lust for a person. And you don't have to choose to dabble in the lust of you with another person. Just same thing with straight men. You may see a woman, fine, whatever. That don't mean you need to go for it. And if you and your wife are married and y'all in a consistent relationship and something happens, just say she have a medical issue and she gained, be 400 pounds. You make a choice, brother. You don't need to jump on everything that you lust after. You can make a decision, in my opinion. And I feel like if you're a man and you're like, okay, I want to raise a son, then maybe you need to sacrifice that. You may not be as attractive to this woman, or you may not be, sexually intimately wanting to be involved with this woman the way you would a man, I guess. But that don't mean you can't make that decision. That don't mean you can't work at it. There's some women out here that look like dudes. I mean, I don't understand why you can't just get one of these women out here that doing CrossFit. If you want to do,
this is a question that I have, and I hope somebody will answer it for me. I'm gonna try to do it in the best way I can without putting anything at risk, the platform at risk. When you have two men, right, or even two women, that's their preference, that's their lifestyle, right, and they're trying to raise a child, or you know what I mean. Let's two gay men. I always wondered, do the two gay men, do they aspire for their kid to grow up to be gay as well? Like, how does that work? Do they advocate against it? Do they want them to grow up to be just like daddy and daddy? Like, how does that work? You understand what I'm saying? I would like to know what's the dynamic of that? What's the answer to that question?
Good question.
You know what I'm saying? And to go with the playoff, what Brandon said, I'm somebody that don't believe somebody was born gay. I think you chose to be that. So every time I have that conversation, first thing I ask, so was a pedophile born a pedophile? It's a choice. I'll pass the mic, man. I ain't gonna go too hard.
Very quick. I think what happens to a lot of gay people is that there's some kind of sexual trauma in their childhood. Not all, but a lot of them, yeah. A lot of them, that's a common story. I was touched when I was a child and all this and that. You hear that a lot. Now, I'm not saying it's always the case, and I don't have any evidence about people being born that way. I don't know nothing about that part. That's some scientific stuff. I don't know nothing about that, but I do know what I hear from people It's always some kind of trauma in their background.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the reason I say it's a choice because when people are expressing these things, you sit down and you ask a person who's gay, they say, "Well, I'm attracted to men," and that's to me that's not enough for you to say I can't not choose something different. I cannot choose something different. I don't see. I maybe I should have a person on here who's gay that can explain this, but it's like men have like lust and attraction is lust and attraction, no matter if you're gay or straight. And there are men who have attractions or fetishes for whatever reason. That don't mean they have to live by it. They don't mean if you have an attraction for X, you like a woman with big booty, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, whatever. That don't mean that you have to go for that in a marriage. Maybe a woman is less attractive to you, but she's the right person for you that can help you, build a happy home. It's levels to it, in my opinion, and I think that people like to make this excuse and say, oh, I was born this way. I like you like you said about pedophiles and stuff like that, people that like children. Yo,
Was
you
they
born
born
like
that way?
are you born to like children? And people will say, no,
He wasn't. He wasn't born that way.
But these people swear by God that they were. I mean, you got to be crazy to like a little kid. How do you look at a little kid and be attracted to him? That must be some chemical imbalance in your brain or whatever. But the question is, does that mean that you have to pursue that? If you grew up, if you born and you attracted little kids, does that mean that you have to pursue that you need to go down the route and get yourself sent to prison for life? You have to overcome that and say, this is what I prefer. However, this is the way I'm going to live my life. Whatever demon that is in me, I'm gonna sidestep that thing. People have struggles in every aspect of their lives. Some people have a struggle with drinking. And that's an illness. Like some people have alcoholism as an illness and it's passed down through family members. You have to say, I'm not gonna pick that drink up. I'm gonna have to live without drinking alcohol. And that is a decision that you have to make. Although it's unpleasurable, although you may feel like you've missed out on this portion of your life, it's a decision that you have to make if you want to make it. If you don't want to make it, then you do whatever you want to do. It's America. You can do whatever you want to do. It's the same thing with promiscuity. And I'm gonna pass the mic. It's the same thing with promiscuity. You may be a person who's hornier than other people, and you may want to sleep with 1,000 women. That's your attraction. That's your vice. Does that mean you have to do it because you want to do it? Does that mean that you're not completely fulfilled because you can't sleep with every woman that you see? At some point, you may have to say, I can only sleep with one woman. You may not be fulfilled if you only have to be with one woman. But you got to be smart enough to make a decision and say, I'm going to choose this because this is the best thing for my life.
Yeah.
That's if you want to.
I think, like as far as gay fathers, I think the best situation, of course, is a mother and a father. I think that if that's what it takes to get you on this planet, then that's probably what you need to have your best shot at life. Of course, having a mother and a father is no guarantee, but it's your best shot. And having one parent and not the other is not the best shot for your kid. And not only is it confusing for the kid to have like two dads and whatever, not to mention what's going to happen at school. Say what you want about adults, kids are ruthless. And if you show up or they find out you got two dads, that's an extra layer of ridicule that you don't need to have. But I also believe that it takes more than just love to raise kids. You hear people say that a lot. Well, what about gay parents? And what if a gay couple wants to adopt a kid? They'll love him. That kid will be loved. Yes, that kid will be loved.
Oh, yeah.
But love is not the only thing. There are things that kid needs to see. There are things that kid needs to experience in order to have a healthy outlook on life. And having two dads and two moms is not conducive to that. Now, are there kids in horrible situations and one loving parent would be better than what the situation they're in now? Well, of course. But that's also a common misconception that there are hordes of people out there wanting to adopt these kids, or there's hordes of kids that need to be adopted and there just aren't enough people that want them. It's quite the opposite. There are more kids out, more people out there who want to adopt kids than kids who are available. So saying that, I don't believe that. Kids need more than love. I mean, if that's the situation the kid's in, okay, but is it the best? No, I do not think it is. I think a mother and a father, that's the way it should be. That's your best shot. I mean, the Messiah himself, Obama, will tell you what happens to kids who are raised in single parent homes. So most of these kids come from single mother households. So to have a single father, I'm assuming what that means is you said gay father. Having a single parent of any kind, gay or straight, is not the best situation for a child. No.
And let me say this for the YouTube gods out there.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do with your life. This is my opinion. We live in America. You can do whatever you want to do. I just disagree. If somebody asks me, what do you think? They ask the question, what do you think? Well, this is my thought process. Will I go through the process of trying to eliminate a gay man from having a kid? I don't care, bro. That's your life. I got my own stuff to worry about. But I think that if you want to know my opinion on it, I have an opinion about it. And that's why I live the life the way I do. And if I had a young guy that came to me that said he was gay, you know, I would ask him the same questions. I would talk him through the same stuff. If my son came to me and said, Daddy, I'm gay, what does that mean, son? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Say, oh Lord Jesus.
I mean, I'll probably say that after I talk to him, but it's like
I'm
what
in the back crying.
It's like, but like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? You attracted to another man? Okay, fine. That's fine. What do you mean? You a person. You a man first. You are American first. Whatever. You're God's child first. You ain't gay. That's a gay act. You ain't gay. It ain't like you type on the keyboard gay. Somehow you drink gay water. It's a choice that you make. It's not who you are. And I think people got to realize that. And to be honest, it's a sexual choice.
Yeah.
It's a sexual choice. It ain't like a gay person don't have male friends that are not gay.
Yeah.
Or they don't like a gay person have, you know, all these other things that doesn't exist. Like, you go through life and you live life like a normal person. You just decide to be sexually attracted to the same sex. I mean,
right.
To me, if that's all it is my son telling me, I thought Jericho just sent a message. If my son was telling me that's how he feel, we need to have a conversation. I'm not going to be thrusted in, or my son came to me and said, Daddy, I feel like a girl. Like, you're going to have to walk through what you feel.
Explain to me, son, why all of a sudden now you want to be referred to as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, I get it. This the whole thing though, Brandon. Like, we're not up here trying to advocate against anybody. That's their decision. That's the way they live their life. The reason why it prompted me to ask the question is I know people that's gay. I know people that's lesbian or whatever, right? That's what they're into. But I ask them about, you know, what do you feel about a lot of the things that's going on in the country? A lot of the things that are being pushed. And even they will say they don't agree with it. They're too extreme. Even though I'm gay or yada, 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 I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that's being pushed by the majority of the people that we see on viral videos or what's pushed in the media. So a lot of them don't even agree with people that's within that community. So it prompts me to wonder, well, if they had a child that they were raising, nobody's saying that they wouldn't be able to raise them with love and whatnot, or try to provide a good household or whatnot for them. What it prompts me to ask is, well, do you aspire for the child to grow up and be just like you? Or are you raising them to go with what we feel, our opinion is the natural order of things, right? Maybe he's a boy that's attracted to the female. How does that conversation work? These are all legitimate questions and thought process that someone like myself would like to know, especially when I hear other people that are gay that don't agree with a lot of some of the things that gay folks are pushing and doing. So that's the stance we're coming from, for the YouTube gods, that is.
Yeah, but I my thing is, I don't want to keep harping on the gay stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah.
You know, it's a real thing that goes on, because you know, you have a lot of people that say, think about it, they go, I was born this way. Okay. What about people that weren't born that way? What recourse do you have for them? Is it a choice? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of my friends that are gay, they had some sexual trauma that had happened to them and they struggle with it. And I have one friend that's gay. He struggled with it, but he's not marrying no man. You know what I'm saying? He's struggling with it. He's dated women. and he wants to overcome that urge for him to want to be, with another man. The reason why he liked men in the first place, because he got raped by his older cousin. His first sexual experience was with a man, and so it messed him up. And so, when you say, "Oh, I was born that way," okay, what about the people that weren't? Is there light at the end of the road for them if they want to make a decision not to do that or not? It's funny that people can never have a discussion about it. They get mad at you and say you're homophobic because you're saying, I just disagree with this situation.
Right.
Nature disagrees with your decision making. It ain't just me. Science and nature says that's not conducive for health reasons, for children, for relationships. Many people that I have seen, they're dealing with a lot. I don't know of a stable person, in my opinion, if you talk to them long enough. I don't know of a person that's clean and they just say, I'm gay, this is what I am. I feel like a lot of people that I meet that are gay, they got underlying issues that they're struggling with. And it's like, come on, man, like, do what you want to do. You live in America. But like I said, if you ask me how I feel, this is what I'm going to say. But anyway, we had 7,000 people continuously watching, which is a good night for us. They've been shadow banning the world out of me.
It's been spicy tonight.
I think
that's a word.
I think the Jussie Smollett is attracted a lot of people because I think it's a big story that fool was found guilty. So it's about 2 hours. I know it's late where ABL is at. ABL, you don't live nowhere near Nashville. We're gonna be in Nashville. None of y'all live nowhere near Texas. We're gonna be in Texas.
I'm about 2 hours away from Nashville. When you coming to Nashville?
Monday night, Tuesday. I'll be on the Candace Owens show.
Okay.
If you want to come through.
You set foot in California, I'll come holler at you, man.
Yeah, I gotta go all the way north to get to you, man.
How far away is Nashville from Florida?
It's far. I mean, I don't know what part of
like a 5-hour drive or something. No,
Nashville, I put it to you like this: Nashville to Atlanta is like 4.5 hours to Atlanta.
That's about an 8-hour and 10-hour drive.
Probably so.
Man.
Yeah, I think somebody said, can I get Rob Smith on here? I think it'll be a good discussion. I'm not gonna lie. I think like a discussion with gay men,
straight from them,
to hear it from a person who actually is going through this, like to actually have rationale, because I see, and I want a gay person who's a man who's a Christian. I want to hear that explanation of what are you saying here? Like, if homosexuality is a sin, it just is according to the Bible. And it's okay to struggle with things. You just got to be open and admit that. I don't like when people say, I'm a Christian and I'm doing deviant things, and because I'm doing it, it's okay. And because I was born this way, God made me this way. It's like, well, I don't know if that's true, because the Bible doesn't say that. And it's not a condemnation, because everybody's sinning. You know what I'm saying? So no one sin is greater than the other. But just be honest about it. Fornication. I fornicated. Fornication is a sin. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna say, well, technically God said if you fornicated but you really like the person, it's not a sin. I'm not gonna go through that rigmarole and do all that. It's a sin, and I'm wrong, and I better repent, or I'm gonna be in trouble with God. That's it. But if you don't believe in God, then don't worry about what I'm saying. But like, if you say you're a Christian, at least admit that things are biblically sound, or at least that things that are in the Bible are talking against the things that you do. I cannot act like I'm perfect in my entire life. But I know it's wrong if I do it, and I pray that God bless me to recover and change, repent from it. It's crazy to me. I don't know how that's one thing that people feel like that God can't heal you from. God can't deliver you from. He can do everything else. People can wake. We can read the Bible and say Jesus wake people up from the dead. People were healed. All this other stuff, and somehow God can't do nothing today. He can't do nothing for you. You just out to dry. I mean, but it's got to be something that so many people are gay. So it can't just be a matter of think your way out of it, because there's so many people that are doing it, and so I think so many people have a legitimate struggle with it. But I'm gonna have somebody on like that. Anyway, but I want to give you guys, a shout out. Follow ABL. ABL, tell people in 30 seconds Tell people where they can find you, how to follow you, and all of the above.
All right, so yeah, the best place to go is right here on YouTube. Just search them 3 letters right there, ABL, right on YouTube. I'll pop right on up. First option. Go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGN.com. Go to the contact page. I got my snail mail, my email, my social media, my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That's all on there. That's pretty much all I got. Oh, also ABLmerch.com for all the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. ABLmerch.com, AnthonyBLogan.com. That's all I got.
Well, Jericho Green, YouTube, Instagram at JG Talk, JerichoGreen.net. And with the rest of my 30 seconds, I would like to say it was a pleasure meeting all you guys. Oliver Mack is not here. People, if you believe nothing else I say, believe when I tell you these are the same dudes in person. When you spend time around people, the guard comes down, you see who they really are. These dudes are legit. It was an honor and a pleasure meeting all of you, hanging out with B. Tatum at his home. We went out to dinner together. We did it big. Let's do it again. Thank you very much.
I second that.
Right on. Sure.
Craig, where can they find you at?
Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to ABL. They've been helping set up the studio. The studio is set up. If you can't tell that the
It look
mic,
good, bro.
It look good, man.
I got the green screen. I was going to do the green screen, but I was like, well, let me just do the flag today. So shout out to them. I appreciate y'all helping me set it up. As you guys know, I am launching the YouTube channel. I'm everywhere else, but I'm late to the game with the YouTube channel. So if you would like to connect with me, subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can just type it in just as you see it. Craig Long 45. The name that's up on the screen now is my Instagram, official Craig Long 45. And hey man, I appreciate you guys as always bringing me on the panel.
Hey, perfect. It was when we were hanging out together, man. Craig was determined to get this computer situation figured out. I can't wait to see you get it all together, man. I can't wait.
If you want to support, I always say, hey, if you want to support me, you can always support me through supporting yourself. If you want to get some cool merchandise, it's at 45strong.com. So, but
good,
yeah, man.
And that's good to support, man. I mean, you guys that watch people and you like what they have to say. I mean, it's always good to support. A lot of how I started was people supporting me, man. That's how I was able to buy all this stuff in here, and just from people's support. And we try to create avenues in which you can support and get something back, where you're not just I'm just giving money. It's like, no, get some of value that you can wear around, that you appreciate. If there's nothing that you bought a book, whatever the case may be, buy the stuff. And that's a good way to support. That's not the only way. For us on YouTube, believe it or not, you don't need any money to support us. All you need to do is watch the video and share the video, and hit the like button, and the ads will do their own thing. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do much. Just like and share the videos.
I do want to add one more thing, though. I just want to thank all of you guys on the panel, man, for, you guys help elevate my voice so that I can get in front of more people that can hear my message. So from the heart, man, I just want y'all to know I appreciate that, man.
Perfect. Appreciate it. Hey, y'all hang out in the back room. I'm gonna come through there and just finish it real quick. And y'all gotta go to bed. I'm gonna end the live, and I'm gonna chop it up with y'all just in the back room. So y'all hang tight. And while y'all back there, send me your links. I need to start putting your link, whatever link you want me to use. The best thing for you guys to do is get a link tree. And
I got a link tree.
I
got a direct me.
Yeah. Direct me, whatever. Send me that link, and then I could put that link under the video, so when people watch it, they can go back and see, oh, I like that guy, here's his link tree. And then you can put all your links on one link. Therefore, I don't have to put 10 links for everybody on there.
Yeah.
So all right, I'll see you guys in the back room. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Every Thursday we try to do this. I think I'll be here next Thursday as well. Every Thursday we try to do it. Thank y'all for watching. Go and support these gentlemen. Bless them with whatever you got, whether it's a subscribe, whether it's buying the merch, whether it's telling somebody about them. All of those things are equally effective in support. If you haven't got my book, Beating Black and Blue, get the book, Beating Black and Blue. You can go to beatingblackandblue.com or go down to the link tree, and you can find a link there. Also, if you bought the book, make sure you leave me a review. It really means a lot. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps push the book to being more of a popular book. So people who have never heard of me could read it and get some insight into law enforcement. And I think that's it. Merch store, put in Keep It 100, get 20% off all my merch, man. I love you guys. I'll see y'all next week. I'm out here. I think I got to close it like this. Y'all stay right there. I could end it wrong, but I got to practice this because it makes permanent. So I think it's the thanks for watching. What does this do?
It's the big